Hello, and welcome to Strength Training for Runners. Hello to my lovely assistant. Hi, Ryan. So, Orion is going to start with foam rolling, and I forgot to get the timer. So she's going to start, and I'm going to grab the timer and go. So she's going to start by sitting up on the roll and going for 30 seconds. Okay, and let's have you switch. So today, Orion and I were reviewing the workout. It is incredibly difficult today. So we're filming on a rainy day, and it's rainy and wet, and Orion and I want to go back and sit on the couch and watch NCIS. We had a big surprise ending last night, and we wanted to watch more, but we had to go to bed. So anyway, welcome to Strength Training for Runners. Today will be review day. Okay, Ryan, switch. So review day, I am going to go through all the different exercises we've done to progress from the very beginning, but instead of doing it gradually, we're going to do it just so you can see each individual step as a friendly reminder and how to progress those steps. I thought today would be a good day because it's day 1 of week 3, so you're halfway through, and there will be some of you who are finding the exercises finally getting good for you, and there'll be others, switch, that find they're a little challenging. So I just want to go through the original exercises and talk briefly about how to progress those things. I am going to add today, because I promised I would progress every time we come. So today when we do side planks, we're going to progress, and I'll tell a little story about side planks as to why I like them personally. So today, foam rolling wise, it's going to be the same we've been doing. You can see Orion is changing the angles, switch, where she is trying to get all aspects of the muscle, and she's got the routine down by now. So we're doing 30 seconds for each body part. And remember, it is definitely okay to do more. So if you like to foam roll and you wanted to get a head start, just do some foam rolling, or obviously you can pause this so you can do a little bit more. Good, and then we'll switch. And Orion is telling me that her muscles are sore today, so she's turning her face away from the camera so you can't see her facial grimaces. Ow, ow. It's been an interesting ride, this coronavirus, trying to figure out what the heck to do. Hope you all are safe and sound and mentally stable. Good, let's switch. We are reopened at Good Emote Physical Therapy, and very restricted schedule. One person at a time in the facility with one therapist at a time also. Just an attempt to try to, there's some people out there who've recently had surgery, so I want to make sure they could have therapy. But it's definitely been a challenge to figure out the right thing to do. Good, and let's switch. I had a patient last week who was a runner and was having some calf pain. He had a very unusual location of calf pain. He had it in the outer part of his calf muscle. It's more common to do it on the inner part. That's where shin splints come in. And then there's a muscle on the outer part called your peroneal longus, and that muscle goes down the outside of the leg. Orion's rolling that one right now. And it goes across your foot into your big toe. It is a very important muscle for us with gait activities, including running. Okay, Ryan. So we're going to do some marching. The next time we do marching, I'm going to show you how to progress this. But today, like I said, I wanted to be review, so we're just going to go through the basics of marching. So at home, remember, this one is about control. It is okay you add a little bit of speed, but I want that pause at the top so that 1001, 1002, and then set down. 1001, 1002, and then set down. So that pause is important because we are trying to get a little bit of balance work here, and I'm also looking for that stability. So a lot of times people will try to do this one a little too fast, and I'm looking for control with this. Remember, it's just the warm-up still. And there's more dynamic warm-ups that you can do for sure. And when I'm recommending people before their runs, I like foam rolling first and then walking, a little bit of jog, then walk a little bit more, then a little bit of jog, little high knees, little butt kicks, little straight leg kicks. A lot of people like the hip openers and, you know, the, what do they call them, gate open and closes, something like that. I like to do log walking, which is as if you're stepping over a log sideways, just because I like how that rotation works a little bit better than when you go forward. To me, it's a little awkward when you're walking forward to bring your leg up and out to the side. It's more natural going to the side, but other than that, I don't really care. So my runner from last week had an irritated peroneal longus, and he had some soleus pain, but in an unusual place. It was behind the knee, and the way I kind of distinguished it, because I wasn't there to palpate myself, is I had him palpate for me and show me the exact spots it was sore, and it was kind of behind the gastroc. It was neat to see somebody else do it. It obviously took a little bit longer than it would if I had done it, just because I would zero in quicker, but it helped me a lot for the description to tell people, and or for future patients, and also for this particular patient. And what is an important piece with these things is to establish a baseline. So you have a symptomatic baseline, and then you have a movement baseline, and then you do something, and then you retest your baseline. So using Orion as our guinea pig here, when we first were starting out, for example, doing the marching, if she was really unsteady on one leg, that's the baseline. And now we're retesting. So every time we do this, we get to test and see the results of her progression. And as you guys have heard me say over the last couple sessions, I'm noticing that that right leg of hers is getting more balanced to the left leg. This is why it's so important to make sure as a runner you are doing one-legged exercises. Two legs are fine. There's nothing, I have nothing inherently against them, but you have to do one-legged things to be balanced. Okay, so Ryan's going to start with the mat, and we're going to do a two-footed bridge like the very first day. And I'm going to have her hold for 30 seconds. So while you're getting ready, wait, Ryan, oy vey, she's in a hurry. She wants to see NCIS. So what I'm looking for here is for you to get ready and then go ahead and bridge up. And so now we're going to do a 30-second hold. And remember, when your 2 feet are on the ground, we're looking for a straight line from your shoulders to your hips to your knees. And in this position, the most common thing that happens is people's butts will start to sink. And that's a sign that you're fatiguing. Another common thing is cramping in the hamstrings. So if you have cramping in the hamstrings, bring your feet back a little bit for me, Ryan. You just walk your feet back a little bit and keep the weight through your heels. Okay, Ryan, take a rest. So now we're going to do the same thing, only this time she's going to have her hands in the air. Go ahead and bridge up. And we're still going to hold for 30 seconds here. So holding for 30 seconds is what the challenge is. So this is how long you have to do it before you're ready to progress to one leg. So having 2 hands in the air takes away the upper body for stability. So she's relying completely on her core, which are her abdominals, the muscles on the side, her back muscles, her butt, hip, and pelvis muscles. That's the core. And she's relying on those to hold her up. Okay, Ryan, grab a weight. So, I noticed she skipped the heavy weights and went right to the light weight. So she's going to bridge up again. And now bring the weight over your head and right to the chair. So she's bridging up. Bring the weight over your forehead. A little bit more. Good. And so when you bring your hands overhead, and if you want to challenge yourself, you can bring your hands over even further. And that makes it even harder to hold because now you're really working your core muscles, your abdominal muscles, while you're simultaneously working those back and butt muscles. So this is how you would progress two-footed. You'd start off with just hands on the ground, progress to your hands in the air, and then have weight. Okay, Ryan. And then with the weight, you bring it further and further over your head, but don't let it touch the ground. So she's going to set the weight down, and now we're going to go up to a single leg bridge. Go ahead, bridge up. And she's bringing the right knee to the chest. So we're going to hold this one just for a 15-second count, and then we'll have her switch. Okay, switch. So when you're changing the feet, there's two ways to change. One is to come all the way down, so your butt is touching the ground. The other way, which is my preference, is that when both feet are touching the ground, you drive the pelvis up again and then lift the foot. Okay, Ryan, come on down, all the way down and rest. So the next one we're going to do it is with the hands in the air. So Ryan, lift up, hands in the air, right knee to chest, and we'll do a 15-second hold here. So this is the one where you get into the, be careful not to let your pelvis rotate. So we're making sure if you had a level, like a carpenter's level. Okay, Ryan? If you had a carpenter's level, you would have, see it's level across from the hip bones, the pelvis bones in the front from side to side. And then the other thing is the butt sinking. You don't want to let the butt sink. So form-wise, this is pretty good. Ryan, bring your belly button down a little bit. There. And come on down and rest. Now grab that heavy, heavy weight. Just kidding, the light weight. And now she's going to hold it straight up, and we'll bridge. Bring the right knee to the chest. Belly button down a little bit. Good. So I was just noticing she was arching her back slightly. It was really, really minor and probably not that big a deal, but I made her change anyways. Okay, and then we're going to switch. So we're just doing 15-second holds here. And now the progression is she's holding on the weight. So that's going to make it a little bit harder. And you can see the pelvis is wanting to roll a little bit just by adding that. What are you holding on? 50 pounds there, Ryan? Just kidding. 10 pounds. So, and then come on down and rest. The obvious progression from there would be to hold on to the band or the weight over your head. You can grab the bands next, Ryan. So we're going to do the basic. I'm going to have you do it with the bands. Yep. We'll go through the series here. So the first 10 reps is going to be with just your hands on the ground. On your back. Bring your right knee out to the side. You saw how she looked at me. She looked at me like I was the crazy one. So the starting point here is with no band. So if you don't have a band, that's okay. But if you do have a band, then notice Orion's hands are on her hip bones. So we're making sure the pelvis does not move here. It's just the thigh. So one progression here would be to pick up your speed a little bit, Orion. On the way in, you're good with control, but that outer part, you just add a little bit more speed to it. And then after 10, she's going to switch legs. And this exercise is mostly about the control for the leg that's not moving. That's actually doing a lot of the work right now. And then we're just trying to challenge that core to not let it move a lot. So remember, this is her weaker side. So her right side is the stability side now, so that left leg moving. And as she adds a little speed to it, it's going to make it harder for her not to move her pelvis. And then after this, Orion, grab the weight. So she's just going to hold the weight over her head and bring the leg out to the side. So do 5 of those, Ryan. And then switch. And she's positioned herself right next to the chair again, so we're going to have her slide forward after this 5. So now you're going to hold it in one hand. And we'll do 5 each leg holding on the right arm. Good. I was just about to say that. So the first step is with 2 hands straight up, and the second would be 2 hands slightly over your head. And you can keep working your hands down like we did in the last one. Another progression is to go to one hand. So some people will get angry at me for this because they want to just follow along without having to think about it. So I apologize for those of you who feel that way, but I wanted to show you, so if you're finding something's easy and you're not finding it very challenging, then it's time to progress. So if you're finding that the band isn't strong enough, you need a stronger band. Or if you have two bands at home, you can double it up. And then as far as the hands go, when you put your arms overhead, it engages more of your core muscles, which just challenges the stability part. So when we add more to it, it makes it more difficult for the core to stay stable. And that's why I wanted to show you that progression. Good. So now we're going to move on to the side plank, and I'm going to have Orion move the mat a little bit so we can get her away from the box. I think it's a little too close there. Yeah, good. So let's start with the basic side plank, and we're going to hold for 20 seconds. So we're going to do 3 on this side for 20 seconds, and then we'll do 3 on the other side for 20 seconds, and then I'll show you the hard way to do this, or a harder way to do this. I don't know if you can hear in the background the rain dropping, but good. Come on down, take a rest. And lift up. Good. So there's several ways you can progress this. As I've been mentioning, I like to have this being done on the knees rather than on the feet. I prefer that because I find it's more challenging when you get to the next exercise. Come on down, rest. And we'll do one more time for 20 seconds. Good. I'm going to make faces at Orion so if you guys see her smiling. Come on down, switch. Switch sides. Make her giggle. That's a way to progress. Laugh. Go ahead, go up. Good. Those of you who've come to the running workshops recently have met one of the therapists who works for me named Kyle. And Kyle started with me back in December, and he's been out of school for about 5 years, I believe, maybe 6 years now. Okay, come on down. And one of the things we go around doing workshops for fall prevention, and one of the things he was talking about to the older people is that as we get older, we lose our fast twitch muscles. And our fast twitch muscles are the ones that help us to react. So one of the things that